This is Nadir Shah in Chicago. Welcome to those who have recently joined the channel. And I hope that you guys can participate in making queries, questions, dialogue, discussion on this platform. As I always, emphasize that, the only way we can learn is by putting the inquiries. And that's what my agenda has been over the lifelong learning, that I question a lot myself. Sometimes I question myself. So today I'm going to give you a gist of some of the vlogs which I have done in the previous, because 2 years, and over the years, I've been studying my personal research, my personal issues, my family's issues, as far as the health is concerned. I did a lot of digging, a lot of literature I have went through, and there's some uh, kind of commonality which I found out, that it's a single thread which touches each and every disease indirectly or directly. And you may have heard from me, and sometimes people get fed up from listening from me, including my friends and family, that I talk a lot about vitamin D. It's not a vitamin. I've said many times before, it's a prohormone. And you know, I'm nothing as compared to the, in giving the emphasis on the vitamin D, because the way nature has taught us and wired us is that we can produce our own vitamin D. That's how the game plan is designed within the human genome system and human body, including the animals, pets and dogs and cats and everyone. Okay. We have to be exposed to the sunlight. But the life is such a demanding now that we cannot go and expose ourselves to the sunlight for various reasons, because of the busyness in the life, office hours and all that, right? On other side, that the corrupted science, which scared the hell out of us, that if you go to the sunlight, you're going to get melanoma, right? So skin cancer, that's what I'm referring to. And then what we are dealing with, I mean, I'm a student of science, purely a student of science. And to me, science provides the lens to understand nature in a better and effective way. That's how I define science to, myself. So I always look things through science. What is the true science, and what is science being fed to me, and by other entities. So you have to have that filter. You have to have that intellectual filter embedded in you, that you can decipher what is the true science and what is the fake science. Okay, that's what we are talking about. I'm not pinpointing anyone, but I'm trying to give you my perspective, that how I have evolved over the years, and how I fix my own health over time. So when I look at this vitamin D, that this nature has wired us for this production of vitamin D within our human body, that it's so important. There's no second question about it. Because if nature has provided us this capability of producing our own vitamin D, I cannot put any emphasis on that. That how important would it be? Okay, when we are exposed, the way it works, when we are exposed, our skin to the UVB rays, we've talked about it, before, that the sun should be above our head between somewhere between noon time and 2:30, when the solar sun is out. When UVB rays, which is a shorter wavelength rays, it hits our skin, there's a penetration through the skin, under the artery, under the skin there is artery. Artery carries the blood, which carries the cholesterol, which is the 7-hydroxy. That's a chemical name for cholesterol. 7-hydroxy, when it gets in touch with UVB rays, that gets converted into 25-hydroxy, and the game plan starts from there. That 25-hydroxy remains inactive until it goes and gets activated through the liver. Once it spits out by the liver and goes to the kidney, it becomes furthermore 125 dihydroxy, which becomes the hormone, which we call calcitriol. Now, this hormone is responsible for giving the entire raw material for the entire human body at various cellular functions for proper functionality of various mechanisms in the human body, whether it be a neuro, whether it be a heart, whether it be a lungs, whether it be a kidney, whether it be a pancreas, giving enough raw material to the beta cells for insulin sensitivity, all those things, everything. This is the basic premise of our quality of life. And the game plan starts when mom becomes pregnant, okay? And I've done numerous vlogs on that. So those folks who have joined the channel, and if you want to take the ownership of your health, make sure, I'm not saying that this is the only silver bullet, but make sure that this is the basic premise. If you don't do this thing, and if you do every other things, which is diet and all that, you're not going to achieve the result the way it should be, because you have to provide your body the basic raw material first, okay? And everything comes after later, in conjunction with the basic raw material. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. So if you are deficient in D, or you are not sufficient in D, you are not optimum in D, make sure that you get these things first, settle on. Okay, because your health now and in future, down the line, as we age, is going to be predicated based on your D status. So you should know your D number. If somebody asks me, what is my D number? I can tell you right now, I'm 98. Okay, so that's how we define ourselves. You should know your D number, because your D number dictates that what protection you are getting against various diseases, okay? There is a threshold for various diseases as various demanding for the D requirement, okay? The autoimmune diseases has the highest, about 80 to 100, okay? That's the highest demand for the body to prevent oneself from autoimmune disorders in case, if God forbid, something happens. So there are people who are taking D, but they are not taking, because I talk to a lot of folks, within the community and, within the friends and circle. I read a lot of forums. There are people who are taking D the wrong way, okay? When I say wrong way means they are taking a lot more than what their body needs maybe, okay? For instance, I'll give you an example. Person skinny like me, who weighs 135 pounds, right, can take anywhere from 4,000 to 15,000 or 10,000. Some doctors are saying, oh, you have to take 10,000 daily. Now, if you take 10,000 daily with just a light meal, not having a fullest meal, it's not going to get absorbed. Okay, there are some protocols. You don't have to just pop the pill taking the D. There are some due diligence which you need to do. That's a must thing. And I learned over the years by doing things which I was not doing the right way. And I started digging the literature, that what literature says. So whatever I'm telling you here is not someone told me. I digged it up and I went to the National Institute of Health papers. I found the research and accordingly I implemented on my life. And I saw the results, okay? So number one thing, I have some notes here written down that one has to take the D with the largest meal of the day, okay? I don't care what it is. Either it's breakfast is your largest meal, so be it, okay? So take with the breakfast. So my largest meal is dinner around 5:30, okay? And that's when I take my D. Now, when I take the D, I have to have why it has to be with the largest meal? Because, D is a fat soluble. And when you have a largest meal with it, along with it, it gets well absorbed in your lower gut. So if somebody is taking in the morning, hardly people do the breakfast. If somebody popping the pill in the morning at the breakfast time and not having enough breakfast and with some fat, the person is not going to get absorbed in the lower gut. Okay. And the person may think that, 5,000 is not enough, and he or she is going to add more to it, so assuming that, I need more to make, high level. But that's not the right way, because, you may be okay provided you do certain due diligence. So that's what I found out in the research, that, it gets absorbed the maximum. The absorption capacity increases by 30% when you take with the largest meal of the day. That's lesson number one I learned. The second is that you have to take with some fat. Okay, some fat. Now, what is some fat? How do you define some is, exact gram of fat? So what I did, because I read years ago that, it's a fat soluble, so you have to take with a fatty meal. That's what people normally say. So I started with, in during my dinner time, I started with a veggie plate. That's my first meal. After that, it's a main course. So I cut up one avocado, and I started eating. So guess what happened? My vitamin D, whatever I was making, it dropped. From 62 to it dropped to 39. And I was scratching my head that what happened, and I couldn't find the answer. After digging a lot of months of literature, I found a paper, and there was a study done in 3 cases that they fed vitamin D with no meal at all. They gave some fat with 11 grams of fat about, and one with the maximum fatty meal, which is 26 gram of fat. The maximum absorption was with 11 grams of fat. Okay. Now I was eating with one full avocado. One medium-sized avocado has 26 grams of fat. Okay. So I was taking too much fat. So what happens that when you take too much fat, your D gets soluble or dissolved immediately. It doesn't get dissolved slowly and steadily to get absorbed well into the gut, to make the level after getting absorbed in the lower gut. It was dissolving very quick. Okay, so it was not a good idea to begin with. So then I switched my avocado in the breakfast. I was not eating with my meal. Guess what? The D spike up again. Okay, that's lesson number 2 I learned. So one is with the largest meal of the day and with some fat. Okay, with some fat. Then third is eat with some probiotic. Okay, probiotic adds another increase in the absorption. So I eat 2 tablespoons of yogurt, homemade yogurt, which I shared the video how I make my homemade yogurt from grass-fed milk. People can watch that. And then added another few cofactors. Now we know that, when we take D, we have to have must K2, vitamin K2, because, it checks our calcium, blood serum calcium at the level. Okay. And it guides the calcium to the right places, which is bones or teeth. Now, people who are on blood thinners, Coumadin or warfarin, they have to consult their doctor before they take vitamin K2. Okay, so this is a disclaimer. Make sure that you are not taking without the consultation of your doctor. Now, the second cofactor I found out, magnesium. Magnesium gets in, then your D gets absorbed very well. Okay, so magnesium is the second cofactor. The third cofactor I found out is your vitamin C, whether it's in the form of food or you take in the form of supplement. Okay, so these are the cofactors which enhances the D level. So I was hovering around 62. By incorporating all these cofactors, I'm standing right now hovering between 92 to 98, give and take, depending on which time of the day I do my 6 months testing, because your body is not linear. It's not going to stay same. Body is your non-linear body. Our body is non-linear. So if you take within the day few readings of vitamin D, every time you're going to get different reading. And the calcitriol, which I'm talking about, the pro hormone, which gets spitted out after the process from the kidney, the half-life is 6 to 8 hours only. So you have to replenish on a daily basis. Sometimes, people say that I take weekly. Then I did this research on this, dosing of the vitamin D, how it should be dosed. The most effective way, the way nature has wired us, so we have to get exposed to the sunlight on a daily basis. Okay, so if we cannot expose to the sunlight on a daily basis, it means that we have to take the supplement on a daily basis. So there was a study done that, they gave the supplement on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, semi-annually basis, and annual basis in the form of a shot. They found out that the maximum D absorption and the D level was on the daily basis. Okay, small doses, like based on your body weight requirement, because it's a function of the body weight. Skinny person, average weight person, about you need 1,000 IU for 25 pound of the body weight. So if somebody is 100 pound, it's 4,000 right there. So for average person, it's about 25 to 30 pounds per 1,000 IU. Okay, this is a rule of thumb. But I have shared the calculator in the past on the many vlogs I have done. In the description, you can check from the grassroots health that, what is your base level and where you want to be. And, it's going to give you a dosage form at the 50 percentile. But if you include all these cofactors and, some do's and don'ts, which I said, then you can get much more absorption. Okay, so from 62, my D level jumped to 98. Now, doctors sometimes say that, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting to the toxic level. But guess what? My blood serum, if you pay attention to the blood serum, because I'm taking 2 tablespoons of natto on a daily basis and 500 mcg K2 MK7. That's about 700 to 800 microgram of vitamin K2. By the way, I am ApoE33, so I don't have any issue with MK7. My wife is ApoE34, so we don't have any issue with the MK7 form. For those folks who are 1 copy of 2 or double copy of 2, doesn't matter. They have to be mindful of MK7 form, because their clearance rate is very slow. I've done numerous vlogs on that. So please, I have a request to all those newcomers who are joining the channel. Make sure you take your time. Make sure you invest some time to understand. I have done some of the vlogs I have done that nobody else is doing on the internet. No doctor is talking about ApoE genotype, how it plays a role in your fat metabolism and your K2 status. Okay, how K2 gets absorbed and how much K2 dosages you need. Dr. Mercola actually shared one of my vlog on his platform as well. And no one told me this thing. This thing is, after months and months of research and digging information, I came across a paper from Europe, and that's how I found out. Okay, and I have seen the results accordingly, because my wife clears K2 very fast. She was taking 100 microgram to begin with. Now she's taking 800. So now her calcium level is dropping, around 8.9. Okay, her vitamin D is much better than mine. She came 113. Now, doctor said that, you have to back it off, but doctor didn't pay attention to the blood serum calcium, that, her calcium level dropped. That's the beauty of how body is behaving, because we are all different. We cannot give everyone the same size fits all. Okay, so one size doesn't fit all. We are all different, and ApoE genotype is another dimension in this whole picture. So make sure that you watch, you invest, because I learned over the years that if you invest in education, that's the best dividend you can get out of it in the long run. That's the best dividend you can get in the long run, investing in your education, because people need things very quick, short-term fix. There's no short-term, there's no short quick fixes. Okay, there's no shortcut in life. You have to give the time, whether it needs if think about it, that the way nature has taught us. Okay, mom has to keep the baby in the womb for 9 months to be normal baby delivery. Okay, if the baby comes out earlier as a shortcut, God forbid, that's a preemie baby. Okay, and I've done enough vlog on the D status, that how pregnancy affects. Okay, so make sure that you watch this video, and along with this thing, previous videos which I have talked about on the miscarriages, on the probability of not getting pregnant, during the pregnancy, all the non-communicable diseases gets affected, because of the D status. Okay, the new non-communicable diseases we are talking about, heart disease, cancer, neurodegeneration, neuro issues, whether it be a dementia, Alzheimer's, or any mental health. Okay, and the diabetes, insulin resistance. Okay, all these four leading horses in non-communicable diseases industry, this dimension is a common thread, and the D is commonly linked in all four. Okay, it's also true in the viral issue as well, because I can tell you that the before 2015 I used to get pretty sick easily, during the viral infection. If viruses is going around, either whether it's a flu virus or any type of virus, I used to get those viruses very quick, and I would be knocked out. But since I fixed my D status, I'm not getting sick, bedridden sick, I'm saying. Even though if I get flu, it's going to be a little sniffle here and there, and within a day or two, I am normal. Okay, because I can see and I can feel that my body is fighting it off. Because you remember that your D number is dictating your immune status. Okay, so basically you have a guard. If you maintain your D, you have a two bodyguards 24/7 with you. Okay, just like that. Just like a physical protection, it's going to internally protect you by keeping your immune system very high and modulated. Because D, if you dig the research, it's going to tell you that your vitamin D is nothing but also known as your immune modulator. Okay, it affects on over 2,000 genes. Okay, there are certain genes should remain on. Okay, and there are certain genes should remain off. This D status modulate that on and off circuit. Okay, so this is so critical. I can tell you that this D is such that it's so important that it's required from cradle to grave. Okay, if we compromise on this front, if we don't fix our D, okay, and don't keep it that way throughout our lives, then probably our quality of life is going to be in very, very difficult condition as far as the health, mental health, physical health is concerned. Okay, of course, all the diet and all the protocol, exercise, and physical activity and social activity and everything plays a vital role in its own respective form. But the basic premise is your D, because remember that nature has wired us. Now, the science, which is sort of a corrupted science, which I'm talking about, that God has given us this cholesterol in the system. Okay, our body is wired in a way that if I don't eat anything, if I live off water for 3-4 days for daily requirement, my liver is designed by nature and wired by nature that it's going to spit out about 75 to 80% of the cholesterol which my body requires. Now, if it spits out more, that cholesterol, my cardiologist or my heart doctor is going to say, "Oh, Mr. Shah, you have to lower your cholesterol." But nature has provided me this cholesterol for the raw material to get converted into D form. And now oncologist, the cancer specialist, is going to say, "Mr. Shah, you are not going to go to the sunlight, okay, because you are going to get cancer." So now I'm getting screwed at the two fronts. Okay, I'm not making enough D, number one, and I'm not using the raw material. But whatever the raw material cholesterol is in my body, now the heart doctor or my regular doctor is going to say, "Oh, okay, you are high on the LDL, which is so-called bad cholesterol. We have to lower it down, and by giving you a statin drug, because I'm not utilizing that thing for making the D. Because when you make the D, your raw material gets dropped by nature. Okay, And remember that, as we age, our body is going to spit out more cholesterol. As we age over time, your body is going to require more cholesterol because your immunity goes down. You have to fight it off with infections. Okay, this is the true science. You can dig it up in your literature. Okay, so that's nature designed. Okay, it's not something that yeah, the problem is that people don't look at the medical industry, don't look at this concept of being insulin resistance is the main culprit. That if you are insulin resistant, that cholesterol is going to put a patch underneath your endothelial layer, and the plaque starts formation formatting the plaque. The formation of the plaque is going to begin, and then more cholesterol is going to get, and then artery is going to get narrowed down. The culprit is not the cholesterol. The culprit is insulin resistance, the type of food we eat, the type of diet we consume. And we are screwed on the first front that we are D deficient. Now, each one of these is a risk factor. When you multiply many risk factors at the same time, then the probability of illness gets amplified. Okay, that's how it works. So we have to tackle each and every risk factor. And I thought that I'm going to share with all the newcomers this D phenomena, that how critical it is. Please, I beg you guys to watch my previous vlogs, which I have done. And if you need any extra help in understanding this thing, because I have done enough reading, and every day I read, every day I dig up something, I haven't come across a single disease as of now that either directly or indirectly it's linked with D deficiency. Okay, whether it's a primary or it's a secondary, it's linked with D deficiency. So D number is the main culprit, okay, of your health. So I think we should take the ownership in our hand of our health, work with your doctor, and make sure that you improve your D status. And if you have any questions, concerns, if you have any particular questions about my issues, how I fixed it, you can put in the comment section and I'll try to address it in a timely manner. But I don't see anything, because I have seen my mom over the years, when she died in 2024 at the age of 99, her D level was 85. And doctors were, scratching their head that at 99, she's living so well and she is not taking the can. There are a lot of studies which is misguided, okay? There's a purpose behind it, to create confusion amongst ourselves, okay? Because we humans tend to believe in gossips and rumors much faster than the reality, because nobody has time to dig it up. If you want to understand really, I always use my intellectual filter to decipher things, okay, what comes to me. I don't just get, sucked up by any information very quick. So there are a lot of misinformation out there about D, that, doctors unintentionally advocating to their patients because patients are naive. So I would strongly recommend you guys to do your due diligence, do your homework, read up something, okay, what it is, how it works, how you are wired. These are the intellectual questions which we should be understanding through the true lens of science to understand nature better. That's my objective, to give you this incentive that science is, there's no difference between science and nature. Science is only enables us to understand nature better. Science provides you a lens. Science provides us a platform to make nature in a rational form, that how it works, okay? Without nature, there is no existence of science, okay? Science is only defining things how it was planned to begin with, okay? It gives you a window of opportunity to see through things, to understand the nature. That's all I have to relay this today, that people who are watching my vlogs, spend some time in understanding D. Take the ownership of D, this D status first. This is very crucial. I don't have words to put more emphasis than this. Okay. If you have any questions, please include in the comment section and I'll address it in a timely manner. See you next week. Bye.